Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Bookworthy with Chris Rini. Today is November 1st, 2022. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me. As you can see here, I've got this lovely, rather large painting of Kana Asakura versus Sarami from earlier this year at an early Ryzen event. It's one of the paintings I've done for my upcoming solo show here in Roskilde, Denmark. I also have a pop-up show coming up in Copenhagen, actually even sooner than that, in December. And I have to make a ton of work in about 6 weeks. Do you want something stuck in my teeth? Did I just use my painting towels for that? Yeah, totally. I'm doing my paints here right now. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome. I appreciate you being here, and I got a couple things to talk to you about. It was not as disappointing a weekend for fight fans as some of us feared. But before that, I want to start remembering to tell you about the different ways you can reach me and reach my content and my artwork, which is different than content. Number one, I am on Twitter pretty much every day at Rini MMA. Also, because Twitter is going to experience quite a bit of upheaval in the coming months, I've decided I'm going to start making my most of my artwork available with no paywall through Patreon. This is in the spirit of full disclosure. You'll just be able to go to my Patreon and look at everything. Boom, there you go. Because patrons get tangible rewards in terms of in the form of these books that I create. If you don't know, I publish a book once a year called The Fine Art of Violence. It is an overview of the year in mixed martial arts. It's a big collection of artwork and essays by retired fighters, MMA journalists, and people who have lots of interesting experience in the world of combat sports. Let's see. I've had some, what else? Where else can you? You can also go to chrisrini.com. That is another cool place to go because you can see a nice, high-quality gallery of the artwork that goes in my books, both by me and by the artists who contribute to the books. And, one other cool place you can go is cottonbureau.com/chrisrini, I think. I'll put a link down below. And you can support me by just purchasing a shirt. I have my faux MMA lifestyle brand, Combat Wombat. It is a fuzzy little wombat wearing 4 MMA gloves who is also a journalist. Oh my gosh, amazing, amazing. It's actually a lot of fun. If you don't know, I am a cartoonist for bloodyelbow.com. And I have a regular cartoon series called MMA Squared. And if you ever want to know one day, I'll tell you why it's called MMA Squared. It's kind of a silly, ridiculous thing. Anyway, I use Combat Wombat as a stand-in for like super fans and kind of what we wish journalists would say, and kind of the questions that are on all of our minds that don't always get covered in MMA media. So there we go. Those are the commercials, right? One day I'll have a sponsor. That'll be really neat. So I want to tell you guys some awesome news. I've got these 2 art shows coming up, and in December and January. In the meantime, I have to make a ton of artwork to fill these shows up. That's what this is here, and you'll be seeing probably quite a bit more of artwork coming to fruition, coming to light. And geez, I don't know. I guess I might even be putting some time-lapse photography underneath this blog right now as we speak. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about life. It's Halloween over here in Denmark, and the Danes are really getting into it. It's not ubiquitous like it is back home in New York, but certain neighborhoods really seem to take off. So I went out with my kids and my wife last night. By the way, dark is dark here. Whew. It's for 6 a.m., pitch black. 6 p.m., pitch black. We do roll the time back on October 30th, and that's it, man. Party's over. Anyway, we rode, I put the kids in the cargo bike. So we went down to a neighborhood near the fjord, because we live by a fjord. It's kind of amazing. And there's some people who get really into it. Apparently, Halloween has really grown in popularity here. It is a pure American export, I guess import, where I am. And only in the past 10 or 15 years. A lot of the parents I chat with, they never experienced it. But I was talking to another dad just this morning, and I was like, you might not realize it, but this is it. This is the best time. You know how when you're into a band and they're on fire, or you're like when you're into a fighter and they're on the rise, and they're just hit after hit after hit, but they haven't become champions yet. That's one of the most exciting times to be a fan of anything. I know as a former musician and person who's really passionate about music, before a band gets really big, I really love their first 2 albums kind of thing. That's kind of, to me, that's the vibe of Halloween here. People are getting into it. They're starting to, we saw a couple really cool haunted houses, and, because you can't buy anything and everything, there are no 12-foot Home Depot skeletons. That is not a ubiquitous feature of the landscape. Because that stuff is not all here yet, there's a cool combination of, practical effects that people build themselves, and then just store-bought, lights and noises and curtains and things like that. So we saw 2 haunted houses. That was really neat. And another one that looked like a spooky rave that they made the kids go inside to get the candy. And,
oh yeah, of course.
She was scared.
Chairs, yeah.
It takes a lot to scare her away from candy. She went in to the rave house. 4 other kids to get candy for them.
You do that very awesome.
I'm proud of you.
I ain't doing it for you.
Anyway, we managed to be home by 8 o'clock, which was like our goal.
There's a number of
My kids are little, they're 6 and 7.
I got limits, man.
You can get them down by 8:30. That's a good life right there. So, Halloween, first one in Denmark. It was a good experience. I had a good time, and I'm sure it'll be. It's probably going to grow in its popularity. I did have that very American idea of like, could I import something from home and really capitalize on this season? Could I really take advantage of like these Danes' inexperience? And, because there's like one costume shop, one party shop here. I guess it's like their party city. It's called like Fav und Festa. Oh, Festa Fav. Festa Fav. You'll only hear bad Danish over here. Festa Fav. And man, we sat online for an hour, waiting to buy costumes. I saw how long the line was, and I just got right online without even looking for anything. And I said to my wife, I was like, we're just gonna look whatever's in this aisle. We're gonna buy whatever's here. And the line is inching up. Just looking at news, like, oh, that's a good skeleton. Oh yeah, that's a good skeleton. Oh, hey, look, this looks vaguely like Morticia. And all of they're very like Chinese knockoff type costumes. So, there's the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, but his name is Mr. Smile. There's a lot of It variations on It. The Stephen King monster, both the Tim Curry and the Stranger Things reboot, and they're all like bad clown, scary clown, get away from me clown. I really enjoyed them. There was also one hilarious one that I thought was a Pennywise variation that I didn't recognize, but I see that they had it was kind of like the Pennywise type mask with like the receding hairline and the big red clown wig, but then lots of a bloody American flag jumpsuit, and that was just called Patriot Clown. That was really, really a gem. But the absolute greatest knockoff costume we saw was Electric Chinchilla, which was a Pikachu costume. That was actually adorable. Anyway, so that's Halloween in Denmark. It is. They warned us, you know. Oh, why would you come here? The weather is awful. I mean, the truth is, we didn't come here for the weather. Came here for opportunity, and so far it's going well. But the big warning was like, yeah, just wait till November. And holy shit, like November 1st, you wake up, it's like 57 degrees, but it's like, it feels 10 degrees colder. It's windy as shit, it's damp, and I have not seen the sun once. It is just a big, bright, gray dome here. It's pretty wild. I guess that's it, sun's over. The way we cope with the sun, you know, we got to get a lot of vitamin D. We bought some actual sun lamps. But the real crazy thing that people do here, not everyone, but quite a few of them, they do winter bathing, which means you get in the water. You get in the water every day of the year, you know. And we decided to do it. We were like, all right, man, this, you know, if you just scroll online, there's a lot of New York Times articles, like, does it help? You know, even, you know, you're a fight fan, right? You know, you hear about these guys going in these, like, I want to say cryogenic, but I know that's not it, like these baths that are like 40 degrees or something, and they're, you know, I've been riding the bike like crazy here, both on my own and you know, riding a cargo bike and going with the kids in it. I have not had a ton of problems, you know. I've had a couple bad days, but not many. Anyway, we go to a lake every day, well, almost every day, and we just get in, you know, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning. You go up to your neck, you don't put your head under, and you just kind of tread water for 2 minutes, get out, go home, you know. We do it while the kids are asleep, and it is fascinating how, you know, you definitely go through this weird euphoria when you get out. It's, you know, I don't even feel the cold, you know. We've been out there, it's been as cold as like maybe 45 degrees, you know. Obviously real winter has not hit. It'll be fascinating to see how we take that. But so far, it's been a real kind of like bright spot in the day. We've read a ton about it, and no one can say for sure why it's beneficial, how it's beneficial. On the real, I don't know, what do you want to say, like motivational side of things, it's almost like you got up and you did something crazy and difficult, and the day has just started. You know, like you go through the day with a sense of accomplishment. You know, like, I fucking went in a freezing lake. All right, fucking do whatever I got to do to get through the day. And then there's the other side of, like, it literally like rewires your brain. It kind of, I've met someone who, he doesn't get in the water, he takes cold showers, and it's actually a way of coping with anxiety. It's kind of a way of triggering your brain into being like, what's the worst that could happen? Oh God, the worst thing is happening, and then you're fine. You're not dead. The world didn't end. Your house is not on fire, and it's supposed to be a way of coping with anxiety, which is fascinating. It's not something I struggle with, but plenty of people close to me do. So, you know, I'm not sure how do you ask somebody whether that is part of their, whether they feel it helps or not. But I'll happily report back probably a lot, because it's still very new and exciting, even for me. There is an ice swimmers club near us, and that was not high on my list of things that I wanted to do, but I do love swimming, and I have been swimming in the lake even during the cold. But the Ice Swimmers Club has a sauna, and yes, we joined just to have access to the sauna. And they basically have, like, I don't know, a truck that drives down to the edge of the lake with a big crane, a boom, and they just plop down a sauna there October 1st. And they'll probably get rid of it on April 1st and put it in storage. Till then, man, holy shit. You got to hook up with the schedule when they say they're gonna be there, when the time is available. But we've gone three or four times now, and it is truly luxurious to go do that, to go be out there, get by the lake, get in, and then go back, get in the sauna, and then you go back and swim again. Whew, that's tight. That is tight. And the last time we did it, we were like one of the last people to arrive, so that we could just hang out in the sauna all afternoon. Not all afternoon, but everybody kind of thinned out. And the guy in charge of the place was like, all right, here's your key. Clean up and lock up when you're done. And it is a very trusting society here. It's a strange, very, very different from the way I grew up in New York City. I was brought up to believe that people are probably scamming you and committing crime, and one white collar, blue collar, black collar, whatever term you want to. Every level, people are committing crime all the time. That's how I was raised. That's definitely what I witnessed. My family is from East New York. I was born in 1978. If you look up those facts, you can get a good idea of what I saw and what was around then. Anyway, I'm getting up around 17 minutes. I haven't even talked about fighting, so I'll just say this. Poor Arnold Allen. That's a rough way to win a fight. I feel like we've had quite a number this year. I can think of 3, and maybe there might be 1 or 2 more, but 3 really disappointing main events. And they've all been, well, I guess this most recent one, I don't know how highly anticipated it was. Personally, I was very keen to see Arnold Allen fight twice in 1 year. Jesus, it's been a minute for that kid. And Calvin Kattar has looked fantastic this year. But there's the Tom Aspinall knee blowout versus Curtis Blades. And then there's the Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez shoulder injury. It's one thing when you lose a fight before it happens. So-and-so has been injured, they missed weight en route to whipping Nate Diaz on his farewell fight. There's been a lot of different things that happen. But these, like, early in the fight injuries, they leave a bad taste in your mouth. They make you feel, and they only highlight how disappointing the whole card itself was. I mean, I think the Aspinall card, that happened to be one of those big UK showcases. I think Paddy Pimblett was on there. I think that was the one where he fought Jordan Levitt. And I think Molly McCann was there and got another one of her spinning elbow knockouts against that bodybuilder woman. Not that she's really a bodybuilder, but she has a really pricked up frame. Anyway, I'm really sad about... I'm somehow more sad about the in-fight injuries than I am when, they lose something, you have a late replacement, and that other thing feels like it just comes with the territory. But all of these injuries are, I'm not going to say whose fault it was, Curtis Blades checked that kick, or he was just too big and too strong, and none of that. Look, a disappointing end is a disappointing end. There's especially when you don't feel like you saw the fight that you wanted to, or that could have been. That's a better way to put it. The fight that could have been. So I hope Arnold Allen can squeeze in another fight this year. That would be great. I'd like to see him in the title picture. I saw somebody floating the idea of him and Max Holloway, or I actually prefer Arnold Allen and Yair Rodriguez. That's tight, right? And then I'll close it out with the Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. This is my personal perspective. In a way, this was the best possible outcome for the three people involved. Number one, Jake Paul, got to taste what it's like to fight somebody who can strike, and did not embarrass himself. He got that knockdown. I mean, I watched like a number of angles, and Silva's feet were out of position. I get it. It was Chris Wyman-esque. Oh, it hurt to say that, right? Anyway, it turned out fine for Silva. He seems immune to bad feelings. I think what's the angriest you've ever seen him? With the chael, almost, did I tap? Did I not tap? Like, he's a beautiful human being, Anderson Silva. And from all intents and purposes, what I've heard is that he's got paid well. And, that's what we want, right? That's what if you're here following my work, I want fighters to get paid. But the third person who really made out okay is Nate Diaz. I bit my tongue from saying this earlier in the week, but I felt like we were in a lose-lose situation, because either Jake's going to knock out Anderson Silva and I'm going to be sad, or Anderson Silva is going to knock out Jake Paul and then Nate Diaz is going to lose his payday and I'm going to be sad. So I think that we have a strangely happy medium has been met. It's like that classic political compromise. Everyone's a little unhappy. That means you did the right thing. Well, thanks for joining me. I will be planning the next painting, recording some interesting stuff for you. If you'd like to ask any questions, I'd love to hear what you're up to and who you got coming up in this Marina Rodriguez, Amanda Lemos fight. I think I'll talk more about that later in the week. Like I said, I'm trying to post twice a week here. And, appreciate you hanging out with me. Take care of yourself.